In this hand, you're playing a $15 tournament online. A lot of runners. You have ace 10 of diamonds. You call here pre-flop just due to how early position the player is who raised. You don't really know much about this player yet. You just know it's a low stakes player, most likely. Everybody else folds. The board comes a 9 of clubs, 4 of clubs, 3 of diamonds. Villain 31 checks to you. Check or bet. We go ahead and fire here. If you need more time, every time I ask a question, just hit the pause button. We bet 2 big blinds, and he calls. The turn is the queen of diamonds, and villain 31 checks. It's on you. Would you like to check or bet? If you did want to bet here, how much did you want to bet? Thinking about his entire range, I would generally recommend a slight overbet here, and it does go ahead and work. So let's discuss why we do that. So first off, what does he likely have? So what a lot of people do here is they bet like 4 or 5 big blinds on the flop, and they bet like 8 big blinds on the turn. So what is that? 5 plus 8, 13. Instead, we bet 2 on the flop, and then we bet 13 on the turn. It looks like a completely different bet, but it's still about 15 big blinds together. So that being said, don't take those numbers as gospel, but instead of betting like 60% pot, 70% pot, and then 60% pot, 70% pot, again, I would generally recommend betting small than betting larger for these reasons. So one, a lot of your opponents very rarely see overbets, so it's very intimidating to them, especially at lower limits. Two, you get a lot of reads out of these smaller bets. So first of all, the player checks on the flop. That right there signifies it's most likely not a terrific hand, because this is a board with flush draws and straight draws, and this was an American-facing site. North Americans tend to have a panic attack when there's a flush draw and straight draw out there. They've just never slow played in their life with those draws out there because they're so afraid of feeling stupid should the draw come there. So if they had a set, they most likely would have led. If they had an overpair, they most likely would have led. If they had top pair, there's a good chance they would have fired. And I know that they should be checking range, but most people don't do that. So, especially not at lower limits. So generally, they're going to be betting here with the overpairs. They're going to be betting with the sets. And when they check there, that's going to be a lot of ace 4 suited, ace 3 suited, 5, 6s, 7s, 8s, maybe some weak 9s. Flush draws typically fire as well. The other thing you have going for you, so you bet 1/4 of the pot here. If this person really did know their stuff, or if this person really did have a pretty solid hand and they check to you here, they likely would check raise versus that small bet with all the overpairs, all the 9s and whatnot, maybe some flush draws. So when they check call you there versus this really small bet, it's really likely their range is now capped at a mediocre pair. It could be a 9. I tend to believe most likely not. Most 9s, I think, fire in $15 buy-ins. 8, 7, 6s, 5s. Check calling here makes perfect sense. Ace 4, ace 3 makes perfect sense. 5, 4 suited makes perfect sense. None of those hands want to see that turn card. Now, if you wanted to bet like 7 big blinds, that's a large bet, but that's a bet they've seen thousands of times in their lives. And they might just say to themselves, okay, I know it's 5, 4 hearts. I know it's mediocre. I know I should probably fold here, but just maybe, he's got Jack 10, or maybe he's just got a couple of diamonds. Okay, I'll call one more time. And if they could see you have ace high, obviously that's a pretty good play to make that hero call. Now, if you overbet, they feel a lot dumber about calling you with 6s here, or calling you with 5, 4 suited, or calling you with 9, 7 of hearts. So you put a lot of pressure on them. And really, the bet doesn't need to work that much more. You're only betting 13 big blinds out of 190 or whatever it is. So it's not going to impact your life that much if you just happen to run into queen 9 of hearts here and he raises. So we go ahead and do that bet, and he folds. And yeah, we end up taking that pot just because we structure our bets a little bit differently. A lot of people would bet half pot on the flop, half pot on the turn. And if you just bet quarter pot on the flop and then just overbet the turn, the total amount invested is very similar. However, you're far more likely to get a lot of folds here, which is great. And if you do get called, the hand's not over. There's a lot of cards that are good for you on the river. If you want to learn more about bluffing, I actually put a full-length training video that you can get for free in a full-length training package you can get for free in the information section of this video. Check out how to triple barrel bluff more in there. Learn how to triple barrel bluff more in that video pack. And if you want more content just like this, go to pokerheadrush.com. That website one more time, pokerheadrush.com, and like, comment, subscribe, all that. All right, guys, that's it for today. Good luck to you on the felt.